Hi guys, today I am 16 weeks and 4 days pregnant, and I'm sorry that this is another last minute video. I'm gonna let this cover week 15 and week 16 because I had a doctor's appointment in week 16 just a few days ago, and I just felt like it would be better to go ahead and just cover the last 2 weeks because really nothing has changed that much, like to do 2 separate updates. So got my little notes here. If I look down a lot, that's what I'm looking at so I can remember what to talk about. So the first thing I want to start with is my doctor's appointment that I had. I believe I was exactly 16 weeks the day that I had the appointment, and the appointment for the most part it went really well. He's playing over there with his cows and his pigs. For the most part, the appointment went pretty well. I originally thought that part of the reason I was so nauseated was because of my prenatal vitamin. I had spoken with the pharmacist and they said that iron has a tendency to constipate you, make you very nauseated, and they just said basically ask the doctor if she thought I needed iron. So when they went over my blood work, she was like, no, you do not need iron. You have plenty of iron in your system. So I switched to just like some gummy prenatals from one of the pharmacies nearby, and I have to say that that made a pretty significant difference. I really felt like almost an immediate difference in my nausea. And I still have it, but as soon as I switched vitamins, it was almost like an immediate change. I feel like I went literally like to a fraction of the amount of nausea that I was having, and it was so bad that I literally, like, I was not eating. And I think, and that leads me into my next point, which they had said I lost like an additional 6 pounds from the previous appointment. And honestly, like, I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking because I just couldn't. I didn't want anything. I just felt so horrible. And it's only been yesterday and today that I've started like eating normally and drinking. And I don't know if like the nausea and the sickness is like really truly starting to subside, or if I'm just having like a few good days at random, which has happened quite a bit in this pregnancy. So that being said, my doctor had prescribed me some nausea medication that you have to get by prescription, and I will probably end up taking it just because the nausea still isn't gone, and with Jace it was definitely like starting to subside or almost gone at this point. So I will probably start that. It's called Diclegis for anyone that's interested in knowing the name of it. And I know you have to take it like morning, noon, and night in order for it to work and be effective, because it's like a delayed release pill. So you basically take it like 5 hours before you need it. So I guess a prescription, the way she described it to me, would be written like you take some in the morning, some at noon, and some at night to keep it in your system like all the time so you'll feel better. So I will probably try that soon and see if it takes care of the rest of the sickness I've been having. Also, I've already touched on appetite a little bit, but it's literally only been yesterday and today that I've started to eat like a normal, like healthy amount of like 3 meals a day and staying hydrated. So again, I'll probably just take the pill and hopefully like start getting things evened out and straightened out. Another thing has been headaches. It feels like there are hardly any days anymore that I do not have a headache, and I definitely have days that are worse than others. And some of the days it's like migraine status. It's really bad, but overall, like, I just cannot kick the headaches. And I don't take Tylenol every single time. I try to suffer through it the best that I can, but there are times that it's really bad and I just have to give in and take Tylenol sometimes because it's that intense. But the headaches are holding on for dear life. Another thing as well that I talked to my doctor about at the appointment was round ligament pain. I have had a lot of really sharp, intense pains down in the cervix area. It radiates to sometimes the hips, the thighs. It's just really, really sharp. It literally just feels like someone is carving me with a knife. And I think I might have said that with Jace, but it is absolutely the truth. Round ligament pain, for me, I can feel it everywhere when it hits. And it's almost similar to a contraction, but it's just super, super, super sharp. And it seems like week 14, I think, but week 15 was like the worst week so far for it, where I would literally have to like double over in pain because it was so intense. And I would have to have Brian like put counter pressure on my back because it was so bad. And I was really surprised that it would happen this early, but the doctor said like I'm right in the perfect timing to go through it, and it has sucked. Also, another thing that's been, I think it's almost like been amplified lately, has been my pregnancy dreams. These dreams have been absolutely insane. I have dreamed about family, friends, famous people, this pregnancy, the gender of the baby, and sometimes they are so freaking scary that I literally like sit up in the middle of the dream and almost like in a panic because I'm so like convinced that what happened in the dream actually did happen. Like even this morning I woke up, I sat straight up like terrified because I had thought I had heard someone like open the door or slam the door, and I came in here to check and obviously nothing had happened, but I was so convinced that someone had gotten into this house. And sometimes the dreams are just about the baby's gender. Most of the time I dream that the gender's a girl. There was one dream I had very recently that we had gone the whole pregnancy thinking the baby was a girl, and then when the baby was born it was a boy. But for the most part the dreams are just kind of strange and weird, but there's been a few that have been super crazy scary and not fun, but I know that's a pregnancy symptom because I definitely had that with Jace too. Another thing I've been going through has been acid reflux. It is terrible at night, but like if I take Tums, it'll sort of mask it a little bit, but it doesn't really fix the problem. And that at this point, like by far has been the absolute like worst like pregnancy symptom, the most annoying thing, because I literally just feel like I am absolutely on fire and it just feels like there's like absolutely no relief for it. Another thing that I've noticed that makes my nausea a lot worse is, I don't know if it's like allergies, I think it is because I'm kind of like clogged up in my throat. I can feel it right now, but like I guess I would call it dry heaving, if that's the best word, because it's more than a cough. And I literally just cannot like get whatever feeling it is out of my throat, and it is absolutely terrible. I just constantly dry heave and dry heave and dry heave until I am completely like ready to throw up. And I still haven't thrown up, which is really shocking, but like I dry heave until I want to throw up, and then after a few minutes the feeling of needing to puke goes away, but I still have this like insane irritation in my throat, and it just like adds to the cycle of sickness. You want to say hi?
Hi.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah, I love you.
I love you too. Mommy's almost done, okay?
Wow, Mommy.
And the last couple things I want to touch on, the first one would be that I have been having so much trouble with my mood. It has been absolutely horrible, and I don't like being mean, obviously. And I'm sure like my husband and everyone that's around me on a regular basis is just as tired of me being mean as I am of being mean myself. But this pregnancy has done a number on my mood. And the last thing before I show you my belly would be about Jace. And I, without going into like a lot of detail because I've already talked for a really long time, he is definitely like a very clingy, like touchy-feely kind of child. And I believe that he's had separation anxiety like from before the time he was able to walk or talk or crawl or anything. And lately I've noticed he's been getting very, very like amplified, extremely clingy. And I don't know if it's like he's making the connection that there's a baby coming, or I doubt it, but I don't know. There's something going on with him. He has just been so clingy, and he already is that way, but it's just been amplified. And sometimes, like, you know, with my mood, it can really wear on me, but I'm trying to like take a different perspective and like be grateful, because I realize like I just have a few more months left with him like alone, so to speak, and I'm trying to like enjoy it and soak up the moments instead of just being like exhausted and irritated about it. And so we have been definitely like just hugging each other a lot, clinging to each other, kissing, hugging, just being really, really affectionate. And he's riding the bike in the house right now. But anyway, that was just something that I wanted to like acknowledge, because obviously like it is very taxing to like not only be pregnant, but to also chase a 3-year-old around is very, very hard. And especially when you have a child that is so darn clingy and just overridden with separation anxiety. But anyways, I'm trying to make the best of it and make it a positive experience. So anyways, here's my belly. So that's gonna be my...
Hi, we want more bottle.
15, 16 week belly.